So the various brands we carry are Throne Serpent. This is their limited edition cookies edition. Ooh. That if you know what cookies means, YouTube, I don't really want to say, but then you understand.
Yep.
And it's limited edition. We got 2 of them. There's very few out there. Yeah, I do. The color, once it came in, actually grew on me. In the pictures, it looked a lot brighter. And I was like, I don't know if I like that. That was like a neon blue. In person, it's a lot darker. So, yeah, it's actually grown on me. So I really like that. It's supposed to be amped up in power, if you will. It has 12,500 kilowatts of peak power.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's pretty good.
Which the Serpent setup, by the way, because this gets compared to E-Ride Pro a little bit, and peak power output's always kind of different between brands. But what sets us apart is a direct drive versus like E-Ride Pro as a jack shaft. So you have losses of energy through a jack shaft. In my opinion, like the 10.5 of a Serpent is equivalent to about the 12 kilowatts of a 2.0 E-Ride. But there are some videos on drag races, and I'm not going to get into that in this video, but just trust me that 12.5 on this bike's going to be pretty amped up. Like, it's going to be pretty awesome. So, but yeah, this is a cool brand that we've worked with, and what makes Serpent so good is that they work with the customers and the dealers extremely well. And that has been huge to us. They've helped us out. We've helped them out. We've helped kind of talk about quality of some of their stuff, and they've been upfront and honest with us. So we really appreciate that from Serpent for sure.
And they've actually had our back too. They've been a pretty cool company to work with. They've met our needs and even went above and beyond, which has been unusual. They believe in the bike. We think it possibly could sell. So, so we're giving it a whirl, see where it goes. I mean, they've been great to work with. If you need parts, we can call them up. They send us parts. Somebody needed forks, they send us forks.
Yep.
Some switches, they sent us the switches. So, in fact, building the cookie, there was the chain guard was a little bent. I kind of heated up and melted it back for the time being, but they're sending us one immediately out for warranty. Not a big deal. So I like that about Throne Serpent brand so far.
Yep. And then, of course, we'll move on to E-Ride Pro, because we already kind of discussed them a little bit. But E-Ride Pro was our top seller. I'm not afraid to say that, really. That was our top seller for 2024. And that all came down to social media-driven sales. Like, that's really, did we have to advertise? Really not at all. People were coming hand over fist for E-Ride Pro all day long.
No, I think they recommend our dealership, and people come and they want to sit on, they want to touch, they want to see a 2.0. Now we have the 3s coming out in the SR. Yes, we're going to have those. We get that asked a lot. It's like, well, we're an official dealer. Of course we can order those, and of course we're going to get those. It's kind of hard to get those right now. This whole game is played as far as, yeah, if we had a ton of money and was a bigger dealer, we could have put that out there and had that sit until bikes came in. We just can't have a ton of money sitting out there. So we kind of let bikes come in, get tested by those that want to do the early investment, and then we start picking up on our sales and orders.
Yeah, as we get bigger, we'll get more into that. The other challenge too is first generation bikes generally do initially your first, I'm going to say your first dozen or so bikes you sell are I'm not going to say it is a thing, but it can be higher likelihood that you'll have more coming in for, stuff that was defective from the factory or mistakes. Nothing that is man-made is perfect, and I think that's normal of anything that's manufactured. For us as a smaller dealer though, like you said, like we can't have a bunch of bikes sitting here and let's just say something happened where we couldn't sell the bikes or whatever it was. It would be kind of a bigger deal for us than somebody who's bigger. So we usually wait a little bit until we get into it. Also, we're seasonal here. Honestly, people just they're in the winter, they're not riding, so they're not buying. That's kind of the thing too. So.
Yeah, and to be truthful, this year is a little rough because you have the weather, then you have elections, and then that's going to soon transfer power, not get in politics, and people are uncertain of where to spend their money or hold on to their money. So we're going through a phase here, and we're hoping it's just a phase, and then it seems a lot of people are coming in to look at bikes and tire kick and for the spring, but they're looking for a couple months out, 2 or 3 months out. So, obviously that's not good for us because we want the sale right away. But in the end, I think they'll be back around and they'll be purchasing something. It's just people are just waiting right now. Yeah. And the weather doesn't help because when it's a blizzard out there.
Yeah, that and interest rates are insane right now. Yeah. So I understand that too. We're customers too. We own our own bikes. We have a lot of bikes. I've just recently finally downsized a little bit just because it was just kind of getting out of hand a little bit. But we own and buy bikes, and we understand the whole thing too of our customers. It just sucks from a small business point. You want people, hey, you want it? Get a loan, buy it, go ahead, man, have fun. But yeah, we get the other side too.
So another brand we carry is Arctic Leopard.
Oh yeah.
We're an Arctic Leopard official dealer.
Yep, Arctic Leopard has been one of the, I guess, coolest, it seems to be, hidden secrets as much as we've tried to advertise. And I know the distributors, they're working on advertising stuff too. Their bikes compare very well to everybody else, and they just reduced prices. I know the biggest complaint with Arctic Leopard initially was the high pricing. My favorite models, the Snow Leopard or the EX800. I have literally beat one to death as we're looking at one right now. So that's been kind of the big thing. It's a 25 kilowatt bike. It's app controlled through Far Driver. It's 2118 wheels from the factory. It comes with a massive 74 volts. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
75 amp hour,
battery? Yeah, pretty sure.
It's massive, yeah.
It's a huge battery. Anyway,
and there's enough room in that frame to actually fit a bigger battery, probably like 100 amp hour.
So range has never been a problem in the bike, and I love the thing to death, and I've done a ton of videos on it, and honestly, we had pretty decent sales, I think, for a first year poke at Arctic Leopard. I think the price point was a challenge. This year, we're looking forward to pushing Arctic Leopard at its new lower price points, as well as, I think, quality control. The way that they're being shipped has all been solved. So we're excited for the
parts
brand.
are supposed to be available.
Yep.
So we're gonna see, and yeah.
Yeah, that's
we're
the
excited.
one that it's a real dirt bike. Like there's really kind of no getting around that.
You're not going around the town without somebody being like, "That's a dirt bike." I mean, it looks like a dirt bike. It feels like a dirt bike. It has more power than most of these others.
I think it's got more power than my dirt bikes on.
Yeah, so
but, it's a great bike, and if you're somebody who's into gas bikes that really does a lot of like single track or enduro type riding, check out the EX800 because it really is a great lightweight, fun option.
I guess some people online say the suspension. I think the suspension's fine, but I'm not picky.
Yeah, we're not super picky. I have a hard time with that one too. Like we've had it down gnarly stuff. I raced it out at TKO. I didn't have a lot of complaints about the suspension, but like I said, I'm probably not the best person to talk to about suspension stuff. But Arctic Leopard has said that they're working with companies. I know Tech Shocks and Forks. They're looking at. I think they're already an upgrade option as it is on these bikes. But
I don't think they ever really manufactured them because I don't know anyone.
I don't know either.
Said that they got them.
I'm not sure.
It was like a $1,500 like upgrade option, and so most people are like, nah, not doing that.
But I think So we'll see kind of what the progression and update is for this coming year for Arctic Leopard. But I ride one. I have one at home sitting in my garage that is a lot of fun to ride. So. We're going to believe in and growing that brand. I think that one's just a little harder because we're targeting a market of real dirt bikers at that point. Because the kids that come in and I'm going to say younger 20s.
I would say barely have 4,000.
Yeah.
Parents aren't going to spend 9,000 on a bike. So it is a different market for sure. And plus it's the dirt bike market versus and most dirt bike guys, they're probably going to have a gas bike anyways. Like our one good friend. I mean, he has a Stark Varg. He has an Arctic Leopard. Actually, they've bought it from us. And they have gas bikes too. But he's young. He has a good job, money. And, he can buy whatever bike he wants. He chose the Stark Varg for his bike and for her, the EX800. So, it's...
And they've had good luck with both, for the record, too, there. Like, both have been pretty solid for them. So, and that just kind of proves to us in general that we always talk about how, like, e-motos are really hard on the service side because there is pretty much no service other than tires, and maybe you'll get somebody with a broken chain every so often. But really, there's not a ton. These bikes end up being so reliable that you never see them again. Like, I don't know, we sold...
Usually it's flat, the flat tires.
We sold close to 100 bikes this past year, and... Like what? We've seen like maybe a dozen back for like brake line stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah, that usually was the e-rides because they still have the mountain bike brakes. So the thin line that's not protective gets touched by the tire, it breaks.
Cut,
E-Ride's been very good at warrantying those. It hasn't been a big deal.
Yeah, that's a
so,
good one too.
you know, that's a good company that just has supported their product and very well. So Arctic Leopard, you know, they're still growing, and we'll see where they go. And we're excited to sell more of those this year. And I think we did pretty good for our first year bike, really, last year.
I agree.
So,
Yep. We're always a little bit more cautious. So. And then I'll segue on to our next brand, which has kind of been a hidden brand for us for a while, which is GPX Moto. So we sell primarily right now, they're little electric pit bikes. That's what we kind of have in stock right now. So those are super cool.
The E60,
Yep,
60 volt. I think it's 18 amp hour, if I recall.
18.2,
Something like
yeah,
that.
something
Yeah.
like that.
And yeah, it's a nice little bike. Adults been buying them just to mess around on. Kids been buying them.
Yeah, they're a pretty peppy little bike. I think power-wise, easily match any sort of like a 50 to 80 cc kind of small engine bike. So and the battery definitely keeps up for anything that a kid's going to keep up with. So we've been pretty happy with that, and our relationship with GPX Moto over the years has been phenomenal.
Yep.
We occasionally pass through a handful of their gas bikes. We don't have a ton of space. So yeah, the gas bikes are always kind of.
We just more or less
priority.
facilitate that sale with GPX. We know them very well, so
they were a big part of our rental fleet. So we had a lot of GPXs in our rental fleet.
yeah. The importer Gary, he's been great with my YouTube channel and stuff, and just support initially before we had this business, getting me bikes at a good cost so I could review, as you might have seen on my channel back in the day, the 2-stroke and then the 4-stroke, and then when we started doing the rentals and buying more 4-strokes.
Yep.
And so he's always been a supporter of ours, so I do thank him greatly. So that's another company that it's nice that they kind of help us out, really, to get going, you know?
Yep, they see the small dealership kind of problem too, so they're good to work with on that kind of stuff. And they have some cool bikes I really like. As we grow, kind of one of my goals is to eventually be able to do more of those kind of unique brands. GPX Moto is really a hidden secret. They are good quality bikes. I've never had any major problems with our GPXs.
Yeah, and they're 250E 4-stroke.
Yeah.
Now it's fuel injected.
Yep.
It's like, what, $4,000?
Yeah,
something?
they're about $4,500.
Yeah,
I think.
something like that, yeah. I mean, it's a dual sport.
Yeah,
it
it's
works great.
awesome. Yeah,
I mean, for just somebody getting into it, I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, the 250E, that is the best inexpensive, I won't say cheap because it's good quality bike, the best inexpensive bike that you can get that is platable, it's comfortable on the street, has good power as a 250. I don't see any other bike out there touching it for that price.
And I know the argument's always been, well, you're going to buy one of those, and when you go resell, you're not going to get much money. Okay, let's assume $4,500 your price. You have it for a couple years. You go sell it. You can only get $2,000 for it. Well, okay, so you lost $2,500 or so, maybe some maintenance items and what have you. Well, okay, now let's go look at a beta or something, and you buy that new for, I think mine was like 12, and you go sell that after a couple years, and
it's
it's like $7, $8,000.
Yeah.
I mean, so you lost a lot more money on that bike than you did on the GPX in reality. And people just don't get that. They just think you lose a ton of money.
Yeah, and I just sold our 250E, which was an older model. I can't remember, what did I get, 2,500 or $3 for it? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's why I thought about that. Yeah, I think it was around there.
At our cost, I don't even think I lost money because one, it was a rental for a long time, so it obviously generated, and it was our top rental too. That bike was actually rented.
In fact, if we did more gas rentals, that would probably be the bike. I would say just buy 4 of those and call it good, because the people going out, that's all they need.
And it's a simple
They're
bike.
not racing these.
There's no radiators on that bike. There's nothing to brake on it.
And now it's gone fuel injected.
Now it's fuel injected, so you don't have to worry about that, because people did complain about the carb a little bit. But
yeah, it was hard to get to the
choke.
The choke under there. You had to dig for it. It was annoying.
It was one of my favorite bikes, and I have some cool videos of that one. If you ever look at my channel, we brought that thing all the way up to 14,000 feet and all kinds of stuff with that thing.
Oh yeah, Mount Bras.
Mount Bras.
Yeah, that was epic.
Yeah.
So another brand we also carry is eBox.
Yeah.
So we do the e-boxes. They've been great. I mean, hard to get because of Christmas.
Yeah.
But we sold like 9 of them or something. I forget what we sold.
Yeah, about
and
9
then
of
I
them,
guess
I think.
we missed the shipment on for Christmas. But
Well,
but,
that was all
hey, it
timing.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't understand that market too much. So that's fine. You live and learn in this industry. So, but that's another brand we carry, pretty popular. We also signed up for Electron Company. And they make the parts for these little bikes, like the motor upgrades,
V3
controller
motors and upgrade controllers. Yeah, we have a couple of V3s still in stock too. So, little stuff like that we've worked. We're trying to branch out into and expand into because kit options in the electric market seem perfect because I've seen the benefits of not having to do a ton of maintenance with the electrics on the. And I think the kid side's even more important.
And I think what we're probably going to do, which we need to revisit, but I think we're going to do is probably take one of these bikes for the kids and we're going to put it together and put it on our friends with a. Obviously, a doll has to run out. What the doll does, they do, right?
Yeah, this will be an interesting one.
But they can go try a bike for their kid.
Yeah, I think that's probably a smart way to do it too. Because some people are still anti-electric. We get a lot of that still. So, I get it. I don't care personally. Like him and I, whether it's electric or gas,
we don't care. Are we having fun?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. And
it's not about the miles; it's about the smiles.
There's a quote.
That's it. That's an inside joke. Not going to get into, but if they happen to see the video,
it'd be funny. Yeah. Yeah. So
let's see what else.
I'll talk about another hidden brand real quick that I've been trying to secure, which is Riehu. So, like I said, we don't do a lot of gas bike stuff, but I've worked with Mark Berg and CPD Direct. We have a Riehu. We've had a Riehu for a couple of years. I love the brand, and they just came out with a new exciting fuel-injected 302 stroke. They updated the chassis, which is the old gas chassis, and it's an awesome bike. I think everybody that's been on it has really loved it, and I've enjoyed the bike quite a bit. But they've had a lot of struggles getting certified fully for Colorado as far as being able to be brought into the state and sold. So we've been kind of on hold with them. So I'm probably going to have another conversation to see if we can kind of be a boutique type dealer for Riehu.
And maybe just facilitate some sales.
Yep. So
go that route.
Yeah, that way we can kind of advocate for them. They can sell direct from the factory. We take our cut in the middle kind of a thing. But our Riehu, which was in the rental fleet too, she held up the rentals. The engine has well over 200 hours on it and has not been rebuilt, and has no need to be.
It has good compression.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been a good, simple two-stroke. I don't know. When a bike doesn't break and has no problems and is just a good bike, that's the best thing about it.
Yeah, the only problem is I flattened the rear tire on the last outing a couple weeks ago. So it's sitting over there with a flat tire and need to put a new one in. I hit a cattle grate way too hard and he still had tubes in it. So
boom.
Yeah, it's okay. It's going to get tubeless because I like tubeless.
And I'll address some of you that have looked at Riehu and been scared off by the starting system. One, I believe the new engine has a totally different starting system. I think they relocated how the starting system works. I had to verify that. But what I can tell you is the updated starter on my 22 has been great. So they went to a lubricated Bendix and gear train for the starter. And the good thing about it is that the starter is super easy to get to. So even if it has issues, you don't have to drag everything apart on the bike to take it apart and replace parts for the starter.
Yeah, some people don't like that. It's on the side, but it's accessible.
It's easy to access.
My Beta 200, it's or 200, 300, two-stroke is what I was thinking, is underneath the engine. So, you have to tilt the engine, the frame. It's a pain.
Yeah, so there's advantages, pluses and minuses, and these admittedly can have more issues, but I can say in the 200 hours or so that this thing has gone through life, and it's been dropped a lot. I'm the one riding it, so it's never had any problems. The key to this starter is that if it misses when you hit the button is to immediately let it go. If you chew up the gear train, then that's when people have problems because they'll just keep ramming on it. If it's grinding and making noises it should not, then...
always let go of the starter. I never had an issue on my 2012 Gas EC 300, but people were always on the forum like, oh, the starter, it sucks. And, let off the start button. Why are you? It's grinding. It's not going to start.
So, to that point, we've just had no problems with it. P-Tech supported the bike real well, so they've got skid plates for them. They've got rad guards for them.
You have the
So-
front rotor guard.
Oh yeah, rotor guard too. I
And
forgot
that
about
works
that
out
one.
pretty
Yeah.
good, better than I thought actually. It's kind of like aluminum with a composite material
Yeah, I totally
on
forgot
the
you
outside,
were
and
on
it
that.
actually, yeah, it works really good. It works.
Yep. So,
That's all you can ask for. So,
so the bike's got support. Take a look at them. It's another good brand that often gets forgotten
and you
about.
might sell that one, right?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna get some new parts on it, and I'm gonna ride it some more. So I kind of have a weird love affair with that bike because it's so freaking tall, and I'm short. That's not the bike's fault, but it has a 38-inch seat height, so it's a tall bike. And
It is a tall
I
bike.
I do struggle a little bit with the height, and I have to be honest. Like my X Trainer, I'm probably more talented of a rider on the X Trainer than I am the Riehu, which is sad because the Riehu's got the KYB suspension and all the stuff on it. But sometimes it's the bike that you're comfortable on that you do the best on. It is what it is.